A fateful week in Salem, when secrets explode and bonds are tested. Days of Our Lives Spoilers Week of June 3 to 7. Salem is never peaceful for long, and in the coming week, the undercurrents beneath the small town's quiet surface will erupt into full-blown chaos. Long-buried secrets will come to light, and relationships once thought unbreakable will be pushed to the brink. At the center of it all are two major storylines that promise to shape an emotional, unforgettable week: Sami Brady's tearful return following the death of John Black, and the paternity crisis surrounding Sophia Coy's soon-to-arrive baby. Doug Williams 3 fights to protect Holly and Ari, danger looms. Doug Williams 3 may be young, but he's finding himself in a far too adult situation this week, as trouble surrounds the lives of both Holly Jonas and Ariana Ari Horton. What started as rumors about bad influences has now escalated into something far more serious: loan sharks. Yes, Holly and Ari have somehow gotten tangled in a dangerous situation involving debts and criminals who don't take no for an answer. What's worse is that both young women are now in real danger of being kidnapped. For fans who have watched them grow up on screen, it's painful to see these once innocent girls in such peril. Doug 3 is left torn. How can he protect the people he cares about without putting himself in danger? Expect tense scenes this week as he wrestles with that very question and begins working with family members to find a way out before it's too late. Could this lead to a major rescue storyline or a tragic twist no one saw coming? Sami's long-awaited return. A daughter comes home in grief. There's no name more polarizing or more beloved in Day's history than Sami Brady. She's been at the center of scandals, affairs, schemes, and redemptions for over 30 years, and now she returns under heartbreaking circumstances. Allison Sweeney has confirmed that Sami is still on her way back to Salem, but her return has been delayed due to a terrifying incident involving her daughter Sydney DeMera, who was injured at the airport. But nothing will stop Sami from coming home to support her mother, Marlena Evans, in the wake of John Black's death. The grief hanging over Marlena is heavy, and fans can expect powerful, emotional scenes as Sami stands by her mother through one of the most devastating losses of her life. Their relationship hasn't always been easy, but when it counts, Sami shows up, and this is one of those times. Will Sami's return also shake up other parts of Salem? With her fierce loyalty and sharp tongue, there's no doubt she has something to say about everything happening, including the romantic and parental dramas threatening to tear people apart. The paternity bombshell. Sophia's baby story takes a dramatic turn. In true Day's fashion, baby drama is about to take center stage, and not in the heartwarming, it's a boy kind of way. Sophia Coy's storyline is about to explode. What began with an unexpected labor during her graduation ceremony now spirals into a full-blown crisis of identity, betrayal, and broken trust. Sophia, accompanied by Tate Black, rushes to the hospital to give birth, and while Tate does everything in his power to be a calming, supportive presence, the underlying question remains: is he really the father? Longtime viewers have sensed this coming for weeks. The clues have been subtle, but now things are becoming painfully clear. Enter Aaron Green, a returning figure whose connection to Sophia runs deeper than he first let on. Rumors and now spoilers suggest that Aaron may be the actual father of Sophia's baby, not Tate. This revelation would shake every relationship involved. Aaron has previously hinted that he might walk away from Sophia, but if the baby is his, that changes everything. He may suddenly feel compelled to be a father, a partner, a provider, a friendship on the brink. Tate and Aaron's bond tested. For Tate Black, this bombshell would be nothing short of devastating. He's poured his heart into supporting Sophia physically, emotionally, and perhaps financially, only to discover he may have been living a lie. What's worse is that the possible true father is none other than his best friend, Aaron. For viewers who followed father-son dynamics in Salem for generations, from Tom and Nikki Horton, to Bo and Sean Brady, to Jack and JJ Devereux, this kind of betrayal cuts deep. Tate's fury will be hard to contain, and Aaron will have to answer for keeping such a significant secret, especially if Sophia has known the truth all along. Expect intense confrontations between the two young men. Hurtful words, broken trust, and possibly even physical fights could erupt. Tate isn't just losing a romantic partner, maybe losing a lifelong friendship. What happens next? Family fallout, emotional reunions, and a town on edge. As all of these stories unfold in parallel, Salem becomes a pressure cooker of emotions. Longtime residents are stepping into old roles: protectors, matriarchs, peacemakers, while the younger generation grapples with problems that feel too big for their years. Doug III may have to make a dangerous choice to protect Holly and Ori. Sami returns to a grieving Marlena, the town she can never stay away from for long. Sophia's labor ends with a baby born into a whirlwind of paternity doubts and romantic betrayal. Tate and Aaron's friendship hangs by a thread. And Salem, as always, will feel the impact of every single decision. Final thoughts. Why this week matters to longtime fans. This week's Days of Our Lives episodes won't just deliver the usual suspense and surprise, they will pull at the hearts of viewers who have been watching since the 1970s, 80s, and beyond. It's not just about plot, it's about people, about family, about the consequences of our actions and the uncheckable hope that, even after everything, love and truth still matter. Next, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, June 19th. Grief, truths, and emotional explosions rock Salem. As Salem faces yet another day of heartbreak, confrontation, and unexpected twists, Days of Our Lives fans are in for an emotionally charged episode this Thursday, June 19th. From Marlena's continuing struggle with grief to Chanel's unresolved hopes for motherhood, and from EJ's jaw-dropping confession to Johnny to Belle's growing suspicions about Philip and Xander, this episode is a gripping mosaic of love, loss, and long-buried secrets. For longtime viewers, especially those who followed these characters across decades, this installment strikes at the very heart of what makes Days such an enduring favorite: layered relationships, family loyalty, and the emotional cost of silence. Let's break it all down. Marlena's grief boils over. Belle steps in to help. The death of John Black Drake Augustin continues to cast a long, painful shadow over Salem, and no one feels it more deeply than Marlene Evans Deidre Hall. As Thursday's episode begins, Marlene finds herself drowning in sorrow, unable to shake the feeling that her other half has been ripped away too soon. Clutching John's old baseball cap, a symbol of their love and their life together, Marlene is overwhelmed by memories and grief. In a moment of raw emotion, she lashes out, throwing flowers in frustration and despair. This outburst, though startling, is a perfectly human response to the unimaginable loss of a life partner. Thankfully, Belle Black Martha Madison is there to support her mother. Belle, who is also reeling in her own way, steps into a caretaker role, trying to provide some stability for Marlene in her darkest hour. Their scenes together will be tender and heart-wrenching, a beautiful testament to the bond between mother and daughter, especially in the face of death and emotional devastation. EJ comes clean to Johnny, a father-son showdown. Elsewhere in Salem, EJ DiMera Dan Furigal is preparing for a conversation he's been avoiding, one that could alter his relationship with his son Johnny DiMera Carson Boatman forever. The tension between father and son has been simmering since the night EJ was shot. Now EJ is finally ready to speak his truth. He knows Johnny had a gun that night. The shocking detail: it was Rachel Black Alice Halsey who saw it and remembered it in her sleep. EJ, in a desperate move, struck a deal with Kristen DiMera Stacy Hyduke to keep this information from causing further damage. Kristen agreed to remain silent, even though doing so has deeply affected her own daughter, Rachel. As EJ lays this all out, Johnny is stunned. He may have had the gun, yes, but he didn't pull the trigger. This admission from EJ might shift their dynamic, but it will also expose how far EJ is willing to go to protect his son, even at the cost of the truth, and even if it means endangering others. Expect raw emotion, harsh words, and a complex mixture of guilt, confusion, and reluctant love. Chanel's hope for a family and a public meltdown. Over at the heart of Salem's Juneteenth celebration at the bistro, Chanel Dupree DiMera Raven Bowens is struggling with her own private battle. Though her relationship with Johnny is on the mend, she is quietly aching for something more: motherhood. Chanel turns to her mother, Paulina Price Jackie Harry, for comfort and clarity. As warm and supportive as ever, Paulina listens closely as Chanel opens up about her longing to be a mother and her uncertainty over Johnny's readiness for fatherhood. Chanel may even bring up the idea of adopting Tate Black, Leo Howard, and Sophia Coy's Rachel Boyd baby, a bold move that could upend her relationship with Johnny if he isn't on the same page. This unresolved tension spills over during the Juneteenth event, where Chanel, emotionally overwhelmed, ends up disrupting the joyful celebration, unintentionally becoming a party crasher at her own family gathering with Paulina and Abe Carver. James Reynolds. Belle digs deeper. The Philip Xander mystery deepens. Back on the investigative front, Belle is also putting on her lawyer hat as questions swirl around Philip Kiriakis, John Paul Lavoisier, and Xander Kiriakis, Paul Telfer. Now that Philip insists Xander didn't attack him, Belle finds herself questioning his sudden change of heart. Why would Philip lie to protect Xander? And more importantly, what is he hiding? While Phillips' retraction appears to clear Xander of guilt, it could complicate things for Sarah Horton Kiriakis Lindsay Godfrey, especially when it comes to custody of their daughter Victoria Kiriakis. Sarah has fought hard to keep Xander at arm's length, with supervised visits as a condition, but that may be about to change. Xander, emboldened by Phillips' denial, now believes he has a legal leg to stand on and he's not backing down. He warns Sarah that she may no longer have full control over their custody arrangement. In fact, Xander may be gearing up to take Sarah to court, determined to have real, meaningful time with his daughter. What's next in Salem? This Thursday's episode of Days of Our Lives will be packed with emotional revelations, family upheaval, and bold decisions that will change the course of multiple storylines. From Marlena's grieving heart to EJ's confession, from Chanel's quiet desperation to Belle's search for the truth, Salem is once again teetering on the edge. And as always, longtime viewers know that in this town, nothing stays buried forever, and every secret eventually sees the light. So, buckle up for an unforgettable episode, because in Days of Our Lives, love is complicated, truth is dangerous, and family is everything.